this one on Niners Nation. Austin Bryant visiting the 49ers. He was a fourth-round pick in 2019. He played on some great Clemson lines, if
Yes.
you remember. I mean,
Yes.
Clelin Ferrell was on that line, or Clelin Ferrell, I should say. Big
Mm-hmm.
Dexter Lawrence was on that line.
Lawrence.
But Austin Bryant was a hell of a player at Clemson. He's now 26. He was a fourth-round pick in 2019, 6'6", 280. I remember him at Clemson at more like, maybe like 260, but 11 pressures on 125 pass rushing snaps this last year, 1 tackle for loss, 3 quarterback knockdowns, didn't have a sack. I mean, Wayne, I'll just throw it to you. Austin Bryant, I mean, I don't want to lead you in any direction. The Niners are looking for, what, 700-800 snaps from what they lost from Ebukam, Amenahue, Jordan Willis. They lost some depth. Clelin Ferrell. I'm not a huge Ferrell guy. He's good against the run. What do you think of Austin Bryant if they can get it done? It's not official or anything, but they had him in for a visit.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that Ferrell. It's pretty good, against the run, and then you bring him in. He was more of a pass rushing defensive end than he is the run stopping defensive end. So it's possible that he doesn't walk out without a deal. I mean, I'm sure the 49ers, they brought him in for a reason. And you got to also keep in mind that Chris Kosera kind of takes these players and kind of revives their careers because he puts them in the right position. And we've kind of seen that with like a guy like Kerry Hyder, or Charles Amenahue, or Samson Ebukam. These were guys that weren't highly productive where they were. And we traded for Charles Amenahue with Houston. But then you bring him in here, and next thing you know, he's this elite interior, exterior type of a pass rusher, right? He'll line up inside, can line up outside. I see him more as an edge. That's kind of like what he is. But again, his highlights are from Clemson, period. Like, he hasn't really done much in the NFL. It could be that he was utilized wrong in Detroit, not used, where he played in Detroit. Who knows? But he's here. Why not? We need the depth. Bring him in as a camp body. Probably won't cost too much money. You draft. We'll get to the draft later. You still draft a guy, and if he gets beat out, oh well.
Yeah, I to me, it's like more the merrier. It's like a party. I mean, right now, the Niners like to show up in camp with like 15 good D linemen.
15, bro.
So they're not there yet. They probably need 6 or 7 good D linemen. And if they can get Bryant at a decent price, 4.5 sacks last time he played big time. He played 200 snaps or so with the Lions this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just D-line depth. I don't think the only thing is, here's the question I would have. I don't know what you think, but in my mind, Ferrell and Bryant are not an upgrade from Amenahue, Ebukam, and Jordan Willis. They're not. So that means that I need something more than that, either a significant free agent or a draft pick.
I like that you said that, because I don't think that those two edge rushers are upgrades over Ebukam or Amenahue. I can agree with you, but why not Jordan Willis? Because if you look at last season, what did Jordan Willis really do? He was suspended. Well, I don't know if he was suspended. I want to say he was suspended for the first 4 to 6 games, if I'm not mistaken. He missed a lot of time for substance or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but he wasn't there at the beginning of the season. And then when he came back, it was really hard for him to crack the rotation because we were kind of locked in on who we were using. So if you go the year before Jordan Willis, I mean, everybody loved him, punt, block, all these different types of things, that we seen him doing that Green Bay game. But when you look up his stats last year, like, how many snaps did he line up and how many times did he rush? Was he effective? All these different types of things. Yes, possibly, but was it like to a big number to where you just can't replace it with a Clelin Ferrell and another guy? I don't know. For some reason, the 49ers chose to move forward and not bring him back. Or maybe he was asking for too much more money and they have a number. The 49ers have a number for every free agent that they're signing. And if you're not at a certain tier, they're not going to budge from that number. It's probably no negotiation, period. Like, they're probably going to be like, hey, man, I'll give you $1,250,000, $1 million guaranteed or something. I'm just making up some crazy number, Larry. But I'm just saying, like,
no, I hear you. I mean, it's a hard cap sport, and they spent their money on Hargrave.
There you go.
So they had to let those guys go. It's just the reality of the NFL world. It's nobody's a villain necessarily, but as far as Willis though, I guess I push back a little bit on you, Breezy, on just that. I did an interview late in the year with Drake Jackson and Lenore right at their locker, and I'm like, all right, give me the guy in here that you guys know is really good, but maybe we don't know is really good, right? And Drake Jackson was kind of being the PC, taking the PC route. He's like naming everybody. And Lenore came over and he's like, just say it. And like, he's like, who are you thinking? And he's like, Jordan Willis. And so they're like, yeah, Jordan Willis. So I just think that Jordan Willis is a guy everybody roots for because he's kind of a quiet guy who is like kind of an unassuming guy. But I like Jordan Willis. I mean, he's 270 pounds and ran in the 4.5s, and you had him coming off your bench. Yeah. So, I mean, I like Ferrel against the run, and Bryant also gives you another body. He's a little twitchier, and I think a little bit better of an edge player. I think there's more upside there, but I don't see. I think Jordan Willis had big time traits. Ebukam had crazy athletic traits. Amenahue, that 260 would really, really, really good. I thought. I mean, to me, he's the guy that I miss the most out of those three.
The most too, Larry.
But you know what I mean? I mean, it's like I just don't see that. I don't think Ferrell or Bryant are really as dynamic as the guys they lost. But you know what? I'm not really sweating it because I think there's still a lot of really good edge rushers in free agency. Bingo. And who knows? Maybe they're going to go after one of them. Also, I think this is one of the best edge classes I've seen in the draft. So I think the DN spot is give me a free agent edge rusher that's out there that you would like to see them go after.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out why Yannick Ngakoue is having problems finding a job, because he's been productive just about every season. He's getting you almost damn near double-digit sacks every year he plays. Doesn't matter what the team is. And for some reason, he's still a free agent. Now, his number can be really high. That's got to be the guy that I'm looking for. And if I had to go a little bit older, let's say I'm going to go the elderly route, right?
The elder division.
You get what I'm saying?
And for pass rushers, let's be honest, Niners in the 80s and 90s made a regular deal of getting veteran pass rushers. Why? Because it's a technique-rich position, and once you master the techniques, you can sack the quarterback even as your physical burst kind of wanes as you get older. So I mean, some of these old guys, some of these old heads can sack the quarterback with a lot more regularity.
Yeah, look, give me Justin Houston. That's the old guy that I want. He's still got some bend out there. And listen, it's not like he's starting. The dude just got to come in with 100% of energy and get to the quarterback. Like on 3rd and longs, put him in there, let him do his thing. And if he had to be a starter due to something, like you got a veteran sack guy that can come in here and get the damn job done. We've done it before. Like I was telling people like on the show, remember Elvis Dumerville? I mean, he was tiny, but he can still get
6
the damn
feet,
job done.
260, great pass rusher from Louisville.
Pass rusher. Yeah. You said it. Technique. He knew his technique, and people still couldn't stop it. And so that's how I am. And Larry, I really believe the 49ers after the draft will address the edge rushing position once they figure out how they can still wiggle some money around. I think that's what it comes down to. A couple of more restructures.